Hey everybody, welcome back to Daddy Duty 365, where celebrity dads tell all the good, the bad, and the funny of fatherhood. Now you already know who I'm with today. I have two, not one, but two special guests that may have your wives wanted to watch this on YouTube a little later, so don't be jealous about that. But we have a double dose of light-skinned daddies on set today. We have actor Boris Kodjoe, you already know that man, and his brother Patrick Kodjoe, who is a nutritionist, the life coach, do it all. And you guys are also together the owners of CoFit, the health and lifestyle app to get everybody healthy, right?
That's right.
All right, well, they're also fathers. So we're going to start off with giving them the roll call. We call it the kid roll call. So tell us about your kids, ages, sex, gender, all that good stuff.
Sex and gender. Okay.
I said, maybe I shouldn't say sex. I'll say gender instead. Yeah.
We got Sophie. She's 14 and a half. She's a freshman in high school. And then we have Nicholas, who just turned 13, and he is in 8th grade.
Okay.
Sophie's a girl, and Nicholas is a boy.
Got that.
I have my daughter Ruby, who's 8. She's the rock star. And I have my stepson Troy, who's 15, and he's a sophomore in high school. So keep us busy.
Yeah, very busy. I want to know, what do you guys think is the best part about being a father?
Wow. The best part of being a father, there's a lot of best parts about being a father. I think one of the best parts is that your life takes on a purpose, right? Because when you're in your 20s and you just get out of college and you sort of roaming the earth, doing a whole lot of international research, if you know what I mean.
Right. I like that.
You know, your purpose is not substantiated yet. But once you have a child, it all comes into focus really fast.
Okay.
That's second. It's not about you anymore, so you got that greater purpose. But to me, it's also that all the small moments, the little moments that you kind of find yourself just watching them, and you're just lost in the moment. That happens rarely in life to me, where you just can kind of really sink yourself into a moment, and that a lot to me that happens a lot with your kids, and just to watch them growing into their own personalities and kind of figuring things out. I think it's great.
That's pretty cool. So take us back to when you guys are growing up in Europe, and it's just interesting sometimes to see how two people may be growing up in the same household, but then they have two different lifestyles of how to raise their kids and all that type of things. So what was it like growing up, the Kodjoes?
Wow, I mean, growing up in Germany as two black kids, it was rough at times. Kids are brutal, so we were, bullied pretty much every day. But we also had great friends. We had a great environment, lots of sports, and my mother was really influential in us seeing a lot of Europe. We used to travel a bunch. She used to just throw us in a car and we would go, and whether it's the south of France or Switzerland was right around the corner. So we had a open-minded upbringing, very aware of our mixed culture, heritage. My father being from Ghana, even though he wasn't around when we were growing up. My mother made an effort for us to understand that we had a culture in West Africa, and that we had a culture in Germany, and so we had everything we needed. We had lots of friends. There were certainly obstacles and challenges, and I think one major thing for me was that we always had each other, which was huge. If he had been alone, all these sort of the adversity that he would have had to face by himself, not having a father would have been rough, because we didn't have anybody to identify with in terms of skin color, and back then there was no internet, so we couldn't just Google other black kids, and I knew about I knew about Michael Jackson. Didn't know about Michael Jordan yet. Knew about Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, later on Magic Johnson. Those were sort of the people that had an impact on us growing up. But other than that, we just had each other.
Wow. Yeah, there's just theoretic impact, right? We were literally the only two little black dudes in our little village in the southwest corner of Germany. but yeah, just having each other, and then we give our mom a lot of credit in instilling that foundation of trust in life and self-confidence. In us.
Would you say you had any father figure, even regardless of color, any person who was played that father figure role?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who can be that sort of person who can inspire you and who can teach you about manhood. It doesn't necessarily have to be a father. You know, it can be. It doesn't have to be family. It could be. For me, it was a tennis coach, right? I had a tennis coach who was really influential about principles and values in terms of being a man and you know, making the right choices in life. We had a couple of those sort of figures around. I think for him it was basketball coach.
For me it was him too.
Yeah,
It still is. He's
So
5 years older, and then for me it was always him, primarily.
And yeah, I think it's important for any boy growing up that you have that that focus on someone who models for you what it means to be a man, first of all. So we certainly had a few people around who fit that profile, which was necessary and very important for us because our father wasn't around.
And you mentioned sports. I know you played tennis, you played basketball. How are you incorporating some of those skills you learned growing up in sports with your kids? And, you know, is it all about just having fun? Just go out there and have a good time? Or are you like, no, come on, we got to win. We got to.
You know, it's interesting because sports, I think, teaches so many lessons. I give tennis all the credit for the life I lead today, for sure. Without tennis, I wouldn't be here in this country because tennis, you know, allowed me to come here, get a scholarship and play tennis. And you learn a lot on the tennis court as well as on a basketball court. You learn a lot about confidence, about teamwork. You learn about resilience. That was huge for me because in tennis, you miss a ball, you can't spend a lot of time, you know, going crazy about it. You got to move on to the next point. It's the same in life, you know. When you're facing challenges, you can't harbor and spend weeks, you know, sort of getting, you know, being in a depression about it. You got to move on. You got to get back up, and I think that's taught me a lot, as well as you know, social skills, very important as well. And in terms of my kids, for me, it was important for my kids to fall in love with sports. That was the major thing because I believe sports, as well as music, is a great asset to kids for their development, for a well-rounded development.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, the first thing was I want you to fall in love with sports, and then, okay, if you show me initiative, if you show me that you have drive and you have heart and you want to achieve something, I'm there to support you.
Okay. And what about you? I know you're always in the gym doing stuff, so what about,
Yeah.
how do you incorporate that with everything? So I know sometimes you're at the games and going to practice.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, I'll piggyback off what he said. It's about, to me, it's about support. Until, you know, definitely until, you know, until your mid-teens for me in terms of the kids, it's about them having fun. Number one, because you know, if you push too much as a parent, it you know, it has, the likelihood increases for it to go sideways in terms of the kids' relationship with sports and just questioning everything they could possibly learn and implement in their lives to you know, the potential for them to question that increases the more you push, right? So you want them to kind of take the lead into developing their own relationship with sports and then to derive whatever they can from it. And I think it's a great vehicle for kids to learn and to you know, because most, especially for me, especially with team sports, there's so many parallels to life that you can derive from sports. So it becomes a very beneficial proposition for kids to be involved in that.
What are some of the parallels? Because, you know, a lot of parents would be like, oh, they're dangerous. I don't want my kids involved in sports and things like that. So what are some of the things that you think they could learn and pull from that?
For me, specifically with my sport, with basketball, I think it translates directly just because in basketball, and you know, stop me if I'm getting too technical and too specific, but you you have to do everything. You play defense, you play offense. You kind of pay your dues on defense. It's not fun, but you got to do it. It's part of sports, just like the work and the discipline and the whatever you have to put on, put into your life, your career. May not be fun, but you do it so you can succeed, right? So that in a team sport like basketball, you also have to work with other people. You have to kind of develop your social skills, and so they're I don't want to bore you to death, but there's so many parallels that you can translate directly into many other areas of life, and but even with individual sports like tennis, there's the discipline, there's the grit, there's a lot of things that you can take directly from the sport and apply it to any area of your life and benefit.
Yeah, and I love how you keep that whole fitness aspect alive in your families, and how you bring your families into CoFit, that family app. It's really showing that anybody can do these things that you guys are saying. You just want people to get active, right?
We want people to introduce some healthy habits into their lives, because oftentimes people are intimidated by the daunting task of working out for an hour. A lot of people don't have the time. A lot of people don't have the money for gym memberships. So we want to introduce some simplicity and effectiveness into their lives in terms of health and fitness. Just 5 minutes a day. When you do it on a consistent basis, you're introducing a healthy habit into your life, and it has a huge effect on how you feel, physically, mentally, spiritually. And when you do it with your family, you're more likely to do it again because it's more fun.
You say 5 minutes, like literally just 5 minutes.
Literally just 5 minutes.
Is that like an intense, like 90%, or are you just like, I'm just like a nice little walk or stroll?
No. 5 minutes of moving. Obviously we do a bunch of resistance stuff, and that 3 or 4 exercises that you do it for three rounds. That's something. I mean, you'll be sweating. You'll be sweating.
Like I'm sweating after our 5-minute workouts. Get me to sweat. So to us, it's about getting started somewhere, right? Most people just stay on the couch, and they have that daunting kind of proposition of, I got to go to the gym, drive to the gym, stay there an hour and a half, and then go nuts, and it's not fun and all that. So for us, it's all what we do is all body weight, and we have all of our workouts are 20 minutes or less. We have a lot of 5-minute workouts out there. We have a bunch of challenges that are 5 minutes a day. So it's about introducing those habits that essentially work. They introduce a domino effect into your life, right? You start somewhere, and then one healthy habit will kind of introduce the next and inspire you to either go a little bit longer or watch what you eat a little bit. So it's kind of for us, it's a way of starting somewhere and then going to any direction where you want.
And I like how the CoFit app, it makes you feel like you're working out with your friends, with your family.
Right,
you know what I mean? It makes it more fun opposed to just a class with loud music, and it's like, oh, okay, we just chilling, we're working out.
You're doing it together. You can, anybody can do it, any level of skill or prowess. And as a family, it just makes it easier and more fun.
And it translates into your life beyond just the physical movement, because when you do 5 minutes in the morning, you have a sense of accomplishment, right? You just succeeded at doing something. Same reason why in the military they teach you to make your bed, because it's a sense of accomplishment, right? You have completed a task, and that translates into your relationships, your performance at work. So it has a huge effect on your whole life.
And how is it to get the kids involved? Are they like, oh, do we have to do it? Or are they like, okay, let's go?
No, because this has been our life, and our kids, we've raised them from when they were babies. They've always seen us be active, and whether it's walking outside, going for hikes, or going swimming in the ocean, or working out. So
and they mimic you.
It's been fun for them ever since they started. So naturally, they want to be a part of it.
And for the sisters out there, your wife has the hair wrap so they can put that on.
The gym
wrap. Get their hair right so they don't have to sweat it out.
Yeah, to protect the edges. Protect the edges.
So no excuses, right?
No, you can go right from the gym, or you can right from your workouts to the job.
Yeah, and I notice when I take my kids to the gym, I feel like they get excited about it too. Like they want to go. Like, hey, we're going to go to the gym. Right. Sometimes, especially on my day off, I'm like, I don't want to go today, but they want to go. So I was like, okay. So it does become sort of a family activity, which is really nice to have that. Okay, so we have some things we call I love my kids, but because there's always something that grind your gears, especially when you're trying to get your workout on and they bothering you, they're not letting you get it on. But I love my kids, but what would that thing be for you all?
Oh, man.
I love my kids, but I can't stand having to tell them 1,000 times to make their beds or to pick up their clothes off the floor.
Preach.
Yeah.
For some reason, they just think it belongs on the floor.
Well, I keep reminding my wife that their brains are still developing. Their brains are not fully developed at 13 and 14, so we gotta wait till they're 24. No, they're still developing. So sometimes when they don't listen, I gotta remind myself, just to calm myself down.
And does that work?
No.
If you can say your ABCs, you should be able to pick your clothes up off the floor.
That's true.
It's like the clean lady will come over, she'll clean the house, and then turn around an hour
4
later.
minutes later. Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
We just got this house clean.
Yeah.
So you deal with that a lot.
Yeah. For sure.
Life.
Okay, what about you, Pat?
I'm sure I'm not
I
alone.
think it's just general, man. I love my kids, but they're a lot of work. A lot of, even now at
But now they listen and look.
Yeah.
She popping up like, oh, really? Like,
continue.
That's right. That's
listening
right.
hard now.
Yeah. They ruin your life.
Well,
Just a lot of work, man. A lot of work. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
People always talk unconditional love.
Yeah.
Yes, there is unconditional love, but there's also a lot of unconditional other stuff, like unconditional fear,
Yeah.
unconditional furiosity.
Curiosity.
Furiosity. I just made that up. It just applies
Trademark.
to kids.
Yeah, I know, right? Hashtag it. No. So then, with that being the case, what do you think is the hardest part? With all those things considered, what is the hardest part about being a father?
To me, every age brings different challenges. So every age brings a different hardest part. For me right now, I have to get used to trusting them, right? Because we've instilled these values and principles in them and taught them how to make good choices, and now I have to trust them more and more. I have to trust them when they walk out of the house and they want to go meet their friends. I have to trust them at some points when they start driving. I have to trust them, when they go off to college. I have to trust them in high school. I have to. That's hard.
That's hard and scary, especially when you can't trust them to pick up their clothes off the floor.
Exactly
It's like,
right.
oh man, now I gotta trust you to go out on your own into the world.
Exactly right. So I think that's the hardest part for me to get used to that,
Yeah.
because I love them and I think I've done a good job raising them, but now it's time for me to trust them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Same exact answer. It's the process of pulling away,
Yeah.
and it starts pretty early. Like my daughter's 8, and it's already starting to where it's that process is already underway. And then my stepson Troy's about to get his permit.
drive.
About to get his permit, so it's
Are you gonna put the low jack on the car or kind of the tractor?
we're tracking everything. Trust.
Speed. Like, who's in the car? Right.
Oh, please. CIA, FBI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got it covered. You got it covered.
We've got every kid has their own drone, surveillance drone, follows them everywhere.
All right, well, we got more with Boris Kodjoe and his brother Patrick Kodjoe, but we're gonna be right back with Daddy Rhymes. So get ready for that, Daddy Rhymes.
Oh boy.
That's right.
Hey everybody, this podcast is brought to you in part by Comcast. Don't forget to please subscribe, follow, share, and set up alerts to be notified of new episodes. And of course, more information can be found at daddyduty365.com. Now, let's get back to the Kodjoes. All right, welcome back to Daddy Duty 365. Boris Kodjoe and his brother Patrick Kodjoe in the building. Thank you guys for being here again. Make sure you check out their app, CoFit, by the way. We can just go to any app store and get that, right?
That's
It's
right.
CoFit with a K. Spelled with a K.
KOFIT.
There you go, CoFit. Now, we talked about, when we come back, we said we're going to do it Daddy Rhymes. I know you're like, what is Daddy Rhymes? So Daddy Rhymes is where we ask our dads to sing, rap, do some prediction or some type of performance for the song that their kids love the most. It can be a song you sing to them or something they listen to on the radio. And if you can't remember or think of something, you have to
Make it up.
make it up on your own.
All right.
On the spot.
So am I singing like a message to them or like a?
Whatever you want. It
A
could be-
nursery rhyme. or-
Some dads do nursery rhymes. Your kids are a little older, so it could be a
Or-
nursery rhyme
or
they
one
liked
that's-
when they were kids. I
okay.
made up a nursery rhyme when my kids were little, so we did that. Or it can be just a song on the radio they like
easy.
listen to all the time and keep playing out.
Isn't
Ruby,
that
Ruby, Nico,
Frozen?
you wanna jump in here?
What is your favorite song right now?
We'll just go back to what Nico brought up this morning. Alle meine Entchen schwimmen auf dem See.
Exactly. Schwimmen auf dem See, Köpfchen in das Wasser, Schwänzchen in die Höhe.
Boom.
Whoa.
German nursery rhyme.
What is it saying?
We used to sing that to our kids
That's
when they
right.
were babies.
That's right.
It's loosely translated all of our little duckies swimming in the lake.
Just random
Their
trash.
head in the water, tail in the air.
Sorry, it means nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Absolutely nothing.
nothing correlates to
No.
one another. Like.
Zero message.
No moral
nothing
to that
behind it
story.
at all.
Okay.
Watch those duckies in the lake.
That's right. They love it for some reason. I don't
Okay.
know.
Hey, as long-
It's a
y'all-
traditional.
Y'all still love that?
Yeah.
They're like,
They're like, never mind.
Right.
Crickets.
Now, are all your kids fluent in German as well?
Yeah, especially when we go over there. I mean, it
Uh-huh.
takes them a little bit, but then they were in school over there for 4 weeks this summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do they just have like a regular 2-3 names, or they have like 6 like y'all?
They have a couple.
I was gonna try and press y'all. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna say the whole name. Then I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Keep it simple.
Yeah, no, they have a couple names.
Okay, so what is your name first? Your full name.
Mine is Boris Frederick Cecil Tenate Ofoite Kodjoe.
And what is yours?
It's Patrick Alexander Kitty Nene Otubo Fuerte Kojo.
Wow, that's a lot. Wouldn't you be
Boom.
like? Would you have been hurt if they would have been like, "You just Patrick"? You don't get all the names. Would have been easier. How do you get out of
Would've been
kindergarten
perfect.
with so many names?
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
cut it down for people.
It's just got,
Yeah.
like
You just go by.
PK.
Yeah.
like-
You just go first and last name. That's
Especially
it.
in Germany with the African
Yeah,
names.
they already have
Yeah.
issues just pronouncing our names. So.
Yeah, that's all right. But you guys are doing a lot of great work with going back to Africa and bringing people back to Ghana and trying to educate people about the things that we need to know and understand about the culture there. What inspires you all to be so active?
Wow. Well, first of all, that's where our dad is from.
Mhm.
So we have this kinship, we have this connection to Ghana as a country and the continent as a whole. And we've always been bothered by the narrative that was sort of controlled by popular media about war and famine and mass exodus to Europe and the babies with the flies around their mouths and because we've seen the real Africa, right?
The
From when
beauty,
we were
the
born, the
brilliance.
cultural diversity, the vibrance, the people, the food, the historic sites, it's absolutely it's the most beautiful continent on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And we want people to know that, and we want people to understand that this sort of narrative has been a sort of legacy that was sort of presented to us by way of the colonizers, right? Because they wanted to keep us away. They wanted to keep the diaspora away from Africa, so they have all the time in the world to exploit various countries, to exploit the continent, whether it's for natural resources or whatnot. So we wanted to change the narrative. That's how we started, and we wanted to bring people over to show them what it's really like. And what happened was that we not just changed the narrative about Africa, but we also changed the narrative on how African Americans saw themselves, which was a byproduct that we hadn't expected, which is so powerful, which is the transformational experience that you experience when you go over there. You have a newfound sense of self. You understand that there is a culture, there's a root, there is a past, there is an ancestry that I have, and I'm not from South Carolina, but I'm from, Nigeria, or I'm from Tanzania or Rwanda, wherever, and so it's been a life-changing experience for us. It's been very fulfilling, and we see it as part of our purpose in a way, to allow people to go back and to allow them the chance to go back. And it's sort of like a pilgrimage. It's like our Jewish brothers and sisters, when they take advantage of birthright. When they're 18 years old, they go back to Israel. It's very important that you understand where you came from in order to know where you're going.
Do you also feel like it's sort of almost therapeutic, since you did not have your father as a very active role in your life growing up, to be able to connect to him by connecting to where he came from?
Absolutely, yeah. And for us, it's the path was a little bit different because we still actually have family over there that we're in contact with, right? And we did spend some time there growing up, but it definitely has brought us closer to our culture to be able to go back more frequently and kind of connect on a deeper level.
What's one of the most important messages you want people to take out of your time in the I guess the vision you're trying to spread about Africa?
Go back.
Yeah.
Go back, see for yourself. We want everybody to go, but there's 400 million people in the diaspora, people of African descent that live outside the continent. And we want everybody to go back, to reconnect with the ancestry and celebrate their heritage, because what I keep saying is we're not descendants of slaves. We're descendants of enslaved Africans, which is a big difference. We're descendants of survivors.
Yeah.
And once you understand that and you can embody that and you're empowered and inspired by that, it changes your life.
Just setting foot on the continent is transformational. Just that alone. And
no
what
more
we-
double consciousness.
Right, that's right. And for African Americans specifically, it's what we found, and what the feedback was from the guests we took over there last year during the inaugural Full Circle Festival that now turned into the Essence Full Circle Festival going forward by way of a partnership with Essence Ventures, which is amazing. So what we found in terms of the feedback from our guests was that once you set foot on the continent as an African American, you realize that there is a void that you weren't aware of before, and you for the first time feel truly welcome, and you realize you never truly feel welcome in your own country, so it becomes a deeply transformational experience.
And then you guys are going back over again, taking more people back over this year.
That's right.
What are you looking forward to with that trip?
It's always so inspirational and fun when you watch people experience it for the first time. It's like when people you love and you watch them take these first steps in Africa and reconnect and it's such an eye-opening experience. And when you are able to witness that, be a part of that and share it with people you care about, it's the best thing in the world.
Will you all have an opportunity to go to the Door of No Return?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where our next trip. We was like, we want to go there because I'm a descendant of Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings and that whole family, and we believe that the first person with that line that came over came from the Ghana area, West Coast, and so that's why I kind of trace the roots and do all that stuff.
That's,
and go
that's
back
part
there.
of what we're doing over there, and is going to Cape Coast Castle, and having all of our guests experience that. And now, especially with Essence on board now, it's going to be even bigger and more amazing than last year.
I've heard how people when they go to Cape Coast Castle that they they cry, they bawl. It's very emotional.
Deeply emotional.
Is it the same experience every time you go back?
Yeah, it's the same and different, right? Because you're in a different stage in your life. When I first went, I can't remember it. I was a boy, so every time you go is a different experience. But it is truly all-encompassing. It's a physical experience. It's a mental and a spiritual experience that you have.
So it's fascinating too how when we see different people processing it differently, right? It's amazing.
And how important is it to you as fathers to make sure your kids experience that as well?
Oh, it's hugely important. And it's something that we'll never forget. And it's also a celebration of their culture, right? Because their fathers are part Ghanaian, they're part African, so for them it's a direct connection to their roots, right? So it informs them as people, it empowers them, and it inspires them it inspires them to aspire, right? Because they stand on 400 years of heritage that infuses them with all of that heritage and all of that strength and power to be the best they can be in their lives.
Where can people go to get more information about your trips and your journeys and everything you guys are doing over there?
EssenceFullCircleFestival.com.
Okay, before we go, I need you to give me one piece of advice you would give yourself before you had children. What advice about
Buckle up.
parenting?
Are you sure? Don't do it.
It's not too late to back out.
Enjoy every moment. Will be they're tough times and they're difficult times, challenges, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. Same.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on Daddy Duty 365. Appreciate y'all's time. Keep being amazing fathers out there, and you guys keep watching Daddy Duty 365.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, before you go, we just want to say thanks again for watching this episode of Daddy Duty 365, but we also need your help to get the word out about this new podcast. So please subscribe, follow, share, and set up alerts to be notified of new episodes when they drop every single Wednesday. And remember that this podcast is brought to you in part by Comcast. Thanks, Comcast.